Good morning. Welcome. It's good to be with you. We're going to get started in a minute or two or 15 with meditation. But this morning, if you saw my post, I'm digesting the division that we're all probably feeling and experiencing in the election cycle. And I thought I would just share my process on that. And then we can go into a meditation and do some prayer and meditation work on the country, on our oneness, on the oneness vibration that we all say as yogis. We're all about oneness, but the actual practical application of oneness, of really staying heart conscious in this space where there's so much division and separation and hate and anger and fear and judgment, whether it's in our families and our lineage or if it's going on in society. There's so much to digest when that separation exists. And so if God is love and love is about oneness, then this election cycle is a really opportune time for us to practice what we've all been meditating, what we've all been preaching, what we've all been doing and saying as yogis, right? It's easy to do the so hum or the hung saw, which is I am that is me. I am that I am that I am. But the practice of I am that, I am you, I am red state, I am blue state, I am Republican, I am Democrat, I am conservative, I am liberal. The actual practical application of that is where it all goes to shit, where it all falls apart because of the resonance of fear. So if you have a high needs kid, like let's say you have a kid on the spectrum, right? The most important thing for any of our children really is co-regulation. To be able to get into heart coherence, connect with our heart, regulate our nervous system, stay in that space, be connected to our own safety, our own connection, regulate our breath, regulate ourselves into the parasympathetic nervous system, right? We have to regulate. And then the people with us will regulate to our nice, coherent nervous system, our heart coherence. But in this space where you pick up your phone and open Facebook and it is complete dysregulation, complete fear shown by anger, judgment, statements, just fear spewed out in the form of anger or judgment, it's really hard to maintain that oneness, that I am the person spewing that. They are me. We are connected. We are one. It's really hard where the rubber meets the road. So what does this look like in a divided country? What does this look like? What does this spiritual work that we've all been doing for like decades look like in this space? First, we have to feel the depth of how yucky it is to go into separation on the mental layer of the body. So for me, I learned this lesson back in 2015, 16. I had just launched my work online and therefore was connecting probably for the first time with people with very different belief systems than me. Up until that point, I was really surrounded by people who think like me. And then I start putting Facebook ads up and I'm working with people all around the country in every state, in every belief system, every religion, every walk of life. And so being the generally political person I started placing my beliefs on my Facebook page. And I couldn't realize why it felt so bad to just post a belief. And it was a peaceful belief, but it was still my belief. And I didn't know what was happening. But what was happening was every time I stated an opinion, anytime I stated my beliefs, I went into separation with about 50% of my clients. And I was like, oh, crap, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to break down the love just because I have a thought or a belief. And I didn't understand what was happening. So I did it again. And then I watched, I could feel it. I'm so empathic. I could feel the separation. And I was like, oh, shit. And what that did was it put me into a space of really that next level of consciousness for me. Of if I am going to hold a frequency of oneness, then the mental layer of the body that holds duality and thoughts and opinions and judgments and all of that needs to start getting teased out of my consciousness. But I'm still a human and I still have beliefs and I have 3 daughters and my human had a whole like rant against what was starting to happen to me spiritually, which is like, you don't get to have an opinion. You don't get to spew your opinions, no matter how peaceful they are. Because I didn't want to go into separation with the people that I'm working so hard to develop a deep, connected relationship with. So I sat in the space of really understanding the frequency of duality and how when I land myself into a camp or a silo, I literally go into separation with those who are not in the same silo. And it came to a point where I just couldn't sacrifice my humanity or my love or my oneness or my connection or my care or whatever the hell that was in my heart. I couldn't sacrifice that in the name of my beliefs anymore. So that put me into a personal crisis. I'm like, well, who am I with respect to this? Who am I without my beliefs? Who am I without the identity of what I believe in? And so I spent that time truly finding the space where I had the things that I value and I care about and I believe in small Kim mode, in the small I. And I held that and I honored that. I haven't given up my beliefs. I am not enlightened yet. I would like to be, but I'm not pretending to be either because I'm not going to spiritually bypass that which feels like a ugh in my body. I still have the ugh about whatever I believe in. So I'm still human in that sense. And I have to honor that and I have to feel that and I have to process that and I have to be embodied in that. So I'm not suggesting we bypass the very human aspect of us that has beliefs in a belief system. However, what I am asking is that those who have the consciousness to know that I am my I am presence, I am the divine, I am one, I am that I am. Those of us who are reaching into that consciousness, even though we don't really get it, but at some level we really get it, but at another level we just can't even wrap our heads around it, that at this level, I am one with those who are spewing their judgments and their hate and their this and their that. And so what does that look like in all practical form? How do we bring that concept and that light and those spiritual beliefs that go beyond the mental layer of the body? In my belief, I studied the Barbara Hand Clow perspective of the dimensions of consciousness. And here's what I see happening in the dimensions of consciousness. And those of you on the inner alignment practitioner path, we just went over this last night, right? But here it is. We all have trauma stored in the second dimension of consciousness in our bodies as fear. Like that first time our parent yelled at us, or the first time our teacher made us feel stupid in class. Those trauma packets stored in our body as fear formed our belief systems, our values, how we think, how we go about life. And they live in our bodies and get overlaid onto the present moment. That's what my inner alignment work is. It's going into the trauma packets in the body to start to loosen that fear and feel safe or connected or worthy or loved or seen or like I matter or like the divine loves me, right? So that's the work is in the second dimension consciousness. We all have death fears, the feeling that we're going to die if that person doesn't love us, or if we get the message that we don't matter, or if we feel unworthy, or if we failed. Those death fears live in every single one of our bodies, in my opinion. Yoga might call it the samskaras. We might call it karma. We might call it the epigenetics that we take on from our family. Whatever you call that, there are fears in our body. And from those fears and the conditioning of our families and our environments, we then wire up our mental layer of the body, the fourth dimension consciousness. So second dimension is where the fear is. Fourth dimension is where our mind, the neurosynapses of our brain get wired up of what we value, what we care about, what we believe, what's scary, what's safe, what's not safe. And the mental body, or the ego, is there to keep us safe. The ego is not bad. It's not wrong. It's what helps us live on this planet in this third, fourth dimension consciousness. However, there's a limitation to the mental body in the fourth dimension, in that it says, I'm bad, you're good. You're right, I'm wrong. Or I'm right, you're wrong. This is safe, this is unsafe. And because the mental body lives in these black and white dualities, and because it got set up very typically from the fear that was pre-rational brain, these trauma packets get set up around 6, 5, 3 years old. Before we have a rational brain, a rational mind, which is not until 25 years old. So we essentially get wired up with that's safe, that's not safe. So if you look onto your Facebook feed and you see people acting like 5-year-olds, it's because their death fears and their fourth dimension belief systems are really just triggering in that way. That's what's happening. That's what you're seeing. We're all going to die. You're wrong. I'm right. It's a death fear built into the fourth dimension mental body. But guess what? Those of us who are yogis or on the spiritual path, we know that we are way more than the body and the mind. We've been spending decades trying to connect to the super consciousness or the divine consciousness or the Christ consciousness or whatever consciousness you've been trying to get to, the higher consciousness. And the higher consciousness is the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth dimension consciousness. That's why we meditate. That's why we do a mantra to go into this higher consciousness. So we can transcend the human, right? The body fears and the mental body, the fourth dimension, and move into fifth dimension and higher. And it's in those transcendental states, it's in those higher conscious states that we know that I am you and you are me. I am that I am. And we get a feel of it, and it feels like heaven or nirvana or euphoria. And we might only touch that for like a minute of those 20 minutes that we're meditating. But even still, in that minute, we get the connection to the heart, to the consciousness that we're all striving for, that feels so good. Duality consciousness feels like shit. It never feels good, even when you are the one that's right, because at any moment you could be the one that's wrong, and that fear lives in the body. So what we're doing in our spiritual practice is we're connecting to all that is. We're all drops of that same ocean. We are all connected to source. But man, when this election cycle starts revving up, it's hard to believe that because everybody is in fear in their body. They're dysregulated. Their beliefs are going into duality, and you have to fit into one side of duality or the other, or your actual core values hit those beliefs. But it's during the election or during pandemic, it's during these very polarized times that we as light workers get to hold the light. And what that means is we can sit in our sacred heart. We can regulate our nervous systems. We can pan out from the duality of right, wrong, good, and bad, even though it kind of feels like there's a right and a wrong here. And we can move into the part of us that feels safe in the moment and knows that tomorrow I'm going to be safe too. Even though it feels like the world is falling apart, we can really regulate ourselves into the space that knows that I'm okay. I'm okay. I think of Viktor Frankl's work. Viktor Frankl was in a concentration or extermination camp. I can't remember which one during the war. And he held the feeling of love for his wife. He just stayed in the space of love. He was literally imprisoned, but he connected to heart consciousness and transcended the physical realm in order to hold his vibration. That's my interpretation. So even if the shit is hitting the fan, we can hold ourselves in the vertical line, not the horizontal line. So I'm connected to the sacred heart within. My body, my physical body is connected to this earth. Go into the woods. If you need a reminder that there's this big planet beyond this mental realm, and then connecting up to source and feeling the divinity that we are, moving the light up the spine. This is the vertical line. And we might shut out the external horizontal to remember who we really are, which is a big, expansive soul. I believe that only a small percentage of ourselves are here on this planet. Like 99% of me is hanging out on the spiritual realm as my soul, as my spirit, as my higher self, watching the whole thing go down. That is my belief that I am way more than this election cycle, that I am way more than my political beliefs and the rights and the wrongs. But it's not enough to have a belief system that of that consciousness. We actually have to practice it and tap into the frequency of that to know that that's not just a concept, to be able to embody that consciousness and to live life from the feeling, the embodied feeling of I am that I am. So from that point in like 2015, 16, I'm only going to be talking about equanimity, neutrality, love, holding the light, holding it down. I will share my thoughts and opinions with my family because I'm a human being, but I am not going to participate in division because of my role on this planet. Your role might be different. Your role might be to speak on your platform, but to do so from a regulated nervous system, from a heart consciousness, from a place that doesn't go into division is going to be what changes the dialogue. So I have a good friend, she's a professor, and she does a lot of work on social activism and the regulation of our nervous system and the working of our trauma so that we're not a social activist from a place of fear and dysregulation and hate. So social activism can come from a place of love, unity, and connection if we ourselves are not in fear and separation. So many people go into meditation and then they come out and they live their lives in duality and separation. So let's go into a practice of that if we can. Coming into your breath. Come into your body. Breathe, if you will, into your upper belly. Breathing into your upper belly will massage your vagus nerve and send the message from your body to your brain that we are safe. It'll help activate the parasympathetic nervous system so that you can feel safe. So as you breathe into your upper belly, just let your belly hang and exhale nice and slowly. Breathing into your belly, exhaling through your mouth, feeling yourself, healing your body. Breathe into your hips now, to your hips, your pelvic bowl, your low back. Feel your body, feel the base of your body. You're just bringing yourself into a sense of safety. As you exhale, just exhale down your legs and feet into the earth, flushing out all the fear from the root. Breathing into the base of your spine and exhale down your legs and feet to the core of the earth. Allowing yourself to feel safe. Good. Keep breathing in. Keep grounding down. On the next breath, begin to bring your breath into the space of your heart. 2 inches behind your physical heart is your sacred heart, a cave within you that contains your soul flame. So if you will, drop in to that space within your sacred heart. Just visualize and feel that sacred fire, that soul flame. Exhale, begin to fan that flame, expanding your sacred fire piped straight from the heart of the divine. And as you do so, begin to draw the violet consuming flame, the violet fire from that soul flame. Let your exhale fan that fire. Filling your chest and your back with the violet fire, the freedom flame. Just feel that violet flame transmuting all the walls around your heart that you built to keep yourself safe Let that sacred fire, that threefold flame that contains the frequency of divine love, the pink flame, the divine feminine, divine love flame, and the blue flame, the divine masculine, divine will and power flame, the strength of that blue fire. And the third flame, the golden flame of divine wisdom, the sacred consciousness. Feel those three frequencies dancing within and around your heart, bringing you the violet consuming flame of transformation, of freedom, of joy. And as you expand your breath, fanning that flame, begin to push that flame deep into your cells of your body. Exhale and push that fire into your cells, into your DNA. Let it transmute all that lineage karma, those lineage beliefs and fears. That backpack of karma that you took on from your lineage. Command that sacred fire, if you believe in past lives, to transmute all the experiences of the past. All the times that you were the oppressor and the oppressed. Where you were the abuser and the abused. And if you will, connect into the space of all that pain and karma that you've carried and send the violet flame so deeply into all the illnesses, the true victimization that you experienced. As you send the violet flame deep into your cells, into your DNA, let it cleanse the DNA, the past experiences of your entire lineage. All of that memory of pain and fear. And as you connect with this, join me in the Ho'oponopono, using the violet flame of forgiveness to transmute the past that's bleeding into the present moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive and release me. Please forgive and release me. Please forgive me. I forgive and release you, all of you. I forgive you and release all of you. I forgive and release you. I forgive and release you. Thank you. Thank you for forgiveness. Thank you for forgiving and releasing me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love all of you. I love 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 you. And if you will, continue with the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I forgive and release you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. And as this ripples through your frequency, let it ripple all the way through your lineage and through your culture. Let it move through your city, your state, your country. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and my entire lineage. I forgive you and your entire lineage. Thank you for the forgiveness. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me and my entire lineage. I forgive you and your entire lineage. Thank you. I love you. And as you breathe this violet flame from your sacred heart into your cells, into your body, begin to now push it with your breath into your energy field. Deep breath, exhale it into the space around you, above, below, in front, behind. Sealing off your field, creating sovereignty. Not separation, but sovereignty. So there's a buffer of space between your harsh words, others' harsh words, and your energy field. Just feel the space of the divine light around you, so it's not getting into your nerves, it's not getting into your body or your history or your lineage. Deep inhale, exhale, push that sacred fire into that edge of the bubble around you, creating sovereignty and protection, transmutation. Trusting that that outer edge of your energy field will only let in that which is of the frequency of the heart, of love, of truth, peace, harmony. Remembering, though, that we have to maintain that harmony within our heart and within our field so that we only attract that which is of resonance. Deep breath, push it out. Good. Now, as you feel sovereign, as you feel the divine light and the transmutative flame moving through you with the divine love, the divine power, the divine wisdom of the sacred light, allow yourself to connect into that vertical line that we're talking about. So exhale the sacred fire from your heart down your spine, through your legs to the core of the earth. Locking into the core of the earth, breathing in the earth's frequency up your spine, back to your heart, exhaling the violet flame through your upper spine, through your crown, straight up to source. Beginning to breathe in the light from above. Allowing your spine to lean back into that column of light now, feeling that white column of light connecting you above and below, moving straight through your spine. Begin to draw the light up your spine, sucking it through the straw, pulling that white liquid light up your spine. Retaining it at the third eye, holding it here. exhale, push it up through the crown and let it waterfall back through your body and your field down to the root. Inhaling the white light up your spine. Retaining at the third eye, holding here. Exhaling it up through the crown and around and through your body. Letting it circulate back down to your root. Keep going, breathing the white light up your spine. Retain at the third eye and exhale all the way down to the root. Now, when you feel yourself in this sacred space, feel yourself as one-way energy, meaning you're pulling your energy through the sacred heart from the earth, from above, in that vertical line. And as you're moving through the world, the light is moving out of you. You no longer have to take it in from the horizontal because you're one-way energy. Through this pillar of light, and whatever you give is from the overflow, pouring out of that chalice in your heart. So just imagine yourself before you go onto Facebook or before you go to that community meeting or that school. You're so connected to your spine in the truth of who you are. And with every exhale, the light just moves and ripples into the spaces where you are as you watch the stage, the theatrical production play out on the stage. You're right, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. And you're just sitting in the audience in your column of light, watching it play out. Watching the truth of both people actually have some things right and some things are just pure fear. Seeing the truth of the trauma that's playing out among and between people. Holding yourself steady in the truth of who and what you are. Maintaining a sense of love, compassion, and understanding that people are scared and they're clinging on to their beliefs because they don't know who they are beyond their ego, identity, and beliefs. And you might hop up on stage and maybe do a scene and then realize, oops, I got onto stage. I need to pull myself back into the audience, hold the light in my spine. Just hold this. And if you will, even though you don't want to, open your eyes and look at me and each other. Holding this column of light, holding yourself right here, holding both the deep internal feeling while being able to function and look at someone and hold eye contact while keeping your space. This is the practice now, bleeding the internal practice to the interactions, which is the hardest part because we're either in or we're horizontal. We're either vertical or horizontal. So the work is to stay vertical when you're interacting horizontally. So take a nice deep breath. Try to stay in this space while you're interacting and watching. And seal this in by saying, and so it is, and so it will be, and so it is done. And so it is done. Namaste. Keep holding the light. I love you.